Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to team meeting number 57. We have some classes which are starting soon. We're going to discuss incentives. We're going to discuss some Linda Kaiser's classes. We have a question on preloading Oplerno courses. We have some technical updates. Incentives is one of them. And Slack, how are you? How are the how are the faculty liking Slack? I'd love to find out. So please post your questions in one of these sites. On one of these sites, if you're in the on Crowdcast, post them on Slack, of course, because we're all following Slack. And yeah, if you have any questions, then you can also tweet them at oplerno.com. So Sujin. What have your first impressions been of Slack?
All right, I am enjoying Slack so far, and that's both with the faculty and us using it internally. And one thing I thought about doing for the faculty side of Slack is having a daily or biweekly, sometime discussions to get specific discussions started. Because right now it feels like a lot of you faculty maybe know all of us, but you all have one thing in common here at Oplerno for sure, and that is creating and teaching these courses. So everyone has a lot to learn from each other, and I want to take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely.
Anything you wanted to add, Daniel?
Yeah, no, I agree. As you were mentioning that, of course, one of the first things that came to my mind was an AMA, which is an Ask Me Anything. So that would be absolutely that would be great to do for us as Oplerno staff, and also for staff, whatever the words, for people who are doing the Oplerno thing, and also for teachers who are doing the teaching thing, or the instructors who are doing the teaching thing, which would be fantastic. So we could get to know people, basically ask them anything about anything. It'd be absolutely fantastic to be able to do, and it's very hip and up and coming and stuff like that. So all the young people like that. So. So, of
course, if you have any feedback about Slack, sorry.
No, please.
Okay, I was gonna say, for all of you faculty watching, if you have any questions, how to use Slack, how you can get the best, advantage from learning from others, then by all means, ask in the Slack channel or ask one of us individually, and we can help you out.
Oh, absolutely! Thank you very much for that, sir. So we have some courses which are starting soon. We have Introduction to Psychology, which is an introduction to the field of psychology. The initial topics cover the history of psychology and research methods used in the field. We have Professor Joe Morrissey, who is going to be teaching that, and I think the course starts, I'm sure the course starts in 3 days' time. So if you're interested in either being introduced to psychology or becoming an armchair psychologist, not practicing, of course, then you'll be very interested in this course. We have Principles of Geology, which is starting in 6 days, which focuses on the understanding of process that shapes the Earth and the materials that comprise the Earth. Geology is, personally, I think geology is awesome. So I'd be very interested in taking a course like that. The instructor is Camomilia Bright. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Professor Bright. And we have, which is starting in 6 days. And then we have 2 more courses, both by Linda Kaiser, or Professor Linda Kaiser, which is Oplerno Online Course Design Basics, which is going to, as far as I can understood it, is going to discuss course design within Canvas, using Canvas, and discuss some concepts and some best practices for developing online courses. It's not, of course, a replacement for the online I can't remember. It's not a replacement for Dr. Grover's course. But it is absolutely very good if you want to design a course on Oplerno. And then we also have a course which is Online Teaching Basics, also by Professor Kaiser, which will be covering the basics of teaching online. and is of course also not a replacement for the Dr. Grover's course, which is a 12-week course, but isn't currently on offer. So I think you might find both courses very interesting. We had quite a number of people ask for courses, especially after our fast run with Rob's course. We had a number of people asking for this, and so I think that you'll be very interested in these courses, and I hope you sign up for them. Okay, little discussion. I think Dan was the one, or Rob was the one who discussed ages ago that we would like to preload courses with a standard template. I know we've done that already for a number of courses, and we keep adapting the template so it's actually a better template to be able to use. What are your thoughts, Sujin?
Okay, well, let's talk one more exactly. Monday. What would this entail for people who are not sure what this is about?
Okay, well, from what I understand from Dan, and what we've also been experimenting with already, is that when a new faculty member signs up and has given us the basic layout of the basic syllabus for their course, they actually come into Canvas and they don't have a completely empty canvas to work on. We actually give them and a format in which they can work. Of course, they're quite welcome to delete everything and start completely from scratch. But this is basically giving them a place where they can start, and maybe a place where they can slightly more easily start. Starting with a blank page is always difficult. It's much easier to start if you actually have an idea of which direction you can go or which direction you would like to go.
I can relate to that, absolutely. So I personally am all for this, because I've noticed in my past experiences outside of Oplerno as well, that people are more willing to edit something that already exists, even if that means deleting everything and starting over.
Yeah, indeed, that's my experience as well. I love deleting stuff and starting from scratch, but I love but I'm a programmer, so I love deleting stuff. No, but I loved having a basic idea of what I can do, so that I can actually start there. So I don't know what is possible, and then whether I'm deleted or not. Then it's not so important to just give it, so that I have a basic placeholders and basic idea of what the things which can fit in there are. Okay, so I think that we're going to have another discussion next week about this, slightly more in depth, of course, because we're not teaching people. But slightly more. We'll have another discussion with Rob and with Dan, because of course that's their idea and their bailiwick, and they have best knowledge on these subjects. Next, we have the incentives, which we want to discuss. Yeah, we had a number of bugs last week in the incentives, which is one of the reasons why we didn't. Now, there's actually two of the reasons why we two reasons why we didn't. One was that we had a number of bugs. The other was that I went to a conference. So I was gone for half of the week, and met a lot of interesting people at the conference. So sadly, I wasn't able to deliver it all last week Friday. So I'm hoping to get that up this week, and to get it all posted on, or get it all delivered and up and running this week. And as far as I can tell, if it works very well, it looks very good, and a number of us quite happy with it going this way forward. Sujin?
All right. So more updates from me. A lot of the updates on the website are pretty subtle ones that I've been doing, but a couple of the bigger ones are working on more explanatory pages for students and faculty. The business, we've been working with some companies to let them train with Oplerno, and that page is already on the site if you would like to go look. It's in the header. But one of the things also doing is making a new improved site for students and faculty, because we're targeting both. Instead of having what sounds like corporate speak that exists now, to be honest, I'm trying to break that down into basic digestible chunks that show hopefully exactly what you want to know. Why you would want to teach with Oplerno, or why you would learn with Oplerno, what are the benefits, and of course how you get started. Yeah, that's a very important to know how you get started. It's just sorry,
I got a little bit distracted there. They're very important. Yeah, I've also liked. I think that it's also on the live page now. We added some small widgets to the front page to oplerno.com to tell you how many courses we have. We currently have.
Yes, that is.
How many teachers we have?
Yes, that is now on the front page. Unfortunately, it does not update automatically, so we'll update the number of courses and instructors and certificates probably about weekly. But you can go look at oplerno.com and scroll down a little bit and you will see it there. I would like to have that above what's called above the fold so you don't have to scroll, but for now it is should be the second thing you see.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. And we saw it last week in I think we saw it last week during the closed meeting, and I thought it was looked great. And I hope to see more cool improvements like that from you, more of Sujin. That just look gorgeous.
That's why I'm here.
I had a question from Dr. Fox. Oh, sorry.
Oh, excellent. What is it?
He writes, "Hello. As I'm writing and posting quizzes and lectures, can I use Slack to ask for quick tips as I'm working?" Sujin?
Well, that's what Slack is there for. If you need tips from other instructors, something to bounce, a place to bounce these questions off. That's why the faculty Slack exists. So please use it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. We set it up as say a faculty room or a teacher's room. I mean, we will be in there whenever you need us to answer questions and to encourage you to pose questions. But this is actually absolutely your all your room to use the way you need to use it. You can create channels, do anything that's technically possible within Slack. You're allowed to do. We welcome it and welcome anything that you can contribute in the channel, whether it's questions about your work or whether it's some random musings or random thoughts. Oh, and I think that we come to the almost the last piece. So we've discussed Slack. We'll be moving email servers. I think it is in 2 weeks from now. We'll be sending you some more information, or we sent you some more information. We'll be sending you some more information pretty soon about what exactly the changes will be for you, and what this will mean for your email experience. I don't think that there will be some changes, of course, but I don't think they'll be as drastic as you might expect. Lastly, Sujin, I had some questions for you, because now we've got you here without Rob and without Dan. I wanted to actually ask you some things. Such as what kind of advice can you've been with us now for 2 months, 3 months, maybe?
Yeah, 2 or 3 months. I know it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
It just flies by.
Yeah.
But now that you've seen us, now that you've experienced it, what do you think one of the biggest advice, or the main advice that you could give our faculty members or our students who are watching about? From your perspective, as a marketeer, growth hacker, all around really cool person, what kind of advice could you give them on the marketing side?
Oh goodness, this is a great question. I'm trying to figure out, instead of going on and on about this, I'll go ahead and tell you one of my big plans once I get stuff on the website done, is to have a small free marketing guide for the faculty that talks about all of these things in more detail. But as far as getting the word out about your course now, you are your own best resource for that. I'm working on a post on Medium about this that actually, Danielle, if you could look at, I've hit a wall. But you are your own best resource, which the most popular courses on Oplerno are that popular because the faculty have been getting the word out themselves about it, making these connections with other like-minded people and going out and finding their potential students. You're not just an instructor with Oplerno, in a way, you're your own entrepreneur. So take full advantage of that. And of course, we are always here if you need anything from us.
Yeah, I think Rob calls it, the site is Scholarpreneur. You're a scholarpreneur.
Oh, yes.
I'm an entrepreneur. That's like mixed hegemony or something. Lastly, last week, of course, I was at the Next Web, which is a big conference, which was the 10th edition of the Next Web, which about innovations within the web. A lot of people going there to discuss interesting things which are going on, new things that are happening on the internet, and constantly new companies which are springing up and dying, and lots of people are staying over, and with a huge trade show, of course. And one of the most interesting things that I saw there, I discussed Oplerno, of course, and I talked to many people, and there was so many questions about our faculty members, and how do you become a faculty member, and what are the possibilities for teaching there. There were some interesting questions as well about for companies, if companies would be able to come in and use Oplerno as a platform for where the companies could give their training, and companies could use our resources, our faculty resources, or other resources to do that, which I thought was fantastic. That exactly these type of questions are exactly the type of things that we currently have on our roadmaps. Yeah, but it's just exactly these. All the questions kept hitting the points of the things that we're actually working on, the things that we're working hard toward, so that we can actually deliver even better value to our students and to our faculty members. And one very interesting thing also happened. I was invited to. I'm going to be invited to audit a course at the University of Amsterdam. For I think it's still in the third week now, so I'll be going tomorrow, which is a very interesting course with some interesting people who've been working on their Coursera programs, and they were on the Coursera program for the University of Amsterdam, and so they'll also be going to be talking to me about what their experience is and what they're doing there, and I hope be able to hopefully be able to get an interview with them and get it on tape, and so that we can have an Oplerno interview on what their experience is and how they've been implementing their online learning there as well, which is very interesting. They have a blended learning environment, which is great. So that's it really for me.
Yeah, I think that's it for me as well.
Great. Well, let me check if we have any more questions, just in case. It would be horrible if we missed a question, which is very
exactly.
So I'm going to quickly go in here. Oh. And
any other questions?
No, well, no, I don't see any other questions. But if you do have any other questions, please remember that you can hassle us or contact us anytime when you want on Twitter. You can of course come to our Slack channel. Come to Slack. Slack is absolutely amazing. I mean, we have quite a number of professors in there already, and it's not there's very little technical challenge there. It's just basically chatter, and your fellow professors are in there, your fellow instructors, and it's quite fun as well.
Yeah, or you can always email any of us individually, depending on what your question is on.
Exactly, or you can email us at info@oplerno.com, and
yes.
we'll get all your email. We get all your emails, so we'll be able to answer everything that you have as a question. Well, that was that for me. Thank you very much. Thank you for visiting. And this is for Sujin, and we will hope you have a very nice day. We'll see you online.
See you online.